YouTube, what is going on, guys? Today we are back with Nerd Tavern. We had so many episodes this week, but we're here. We're gonna do our guess like post coverage of E3 this year. I'm not gonna lie, E3 was conferences wise was bit disappointing. We're gonna rank our conferences and then talk about our 5 most anticipated games that we saw at E3. So I'll go ahead and we'll get right into it. We have Gruels and Steven here with us. No Matthew, Jeffrey, or anything like that.
Hey guys, what's up?
What's going on, guys?
All right, so now we'll go ahead and get right on into it. I'll start off with the worst conference. We won't count Devolver Digital because it really wasn't a conference. It was just kind of an fu to E3 as an idea, and I thought it was funny, but it really wasn't a conference. But the worst conference to me was Bethesda. There was no point to have one. It was lackluster. I
The length of your previous podcast should say it all.
There was 2 games. 2 games. Everything else was just go buy Elder Scrolls. You want to buy Elder Scrolls? You should buy Elder Scrolls Skyrim.
In retrospect, I think Bethesda probably has the worst conference out of them all.
I agree. I'm not saying the 2 games they showed weren't great. Evil Within 2 looks great. Wolfenstein looks really bonkers in a good way, but you didn't need a conference for that, in my opinion.
Most of the stuff they showed there's no point.
You could have just
Why
put
bother?
Evil Within at Sony, put Wolfenstein at Xbox, and then that's it. And then you could have
There you
legit
go.
just kind of done maybe like a quick 10-minute thing saying Bethesda, we'll have a couple announcements, nothing big on this right here. On like YouTube Live almost. You could just said like, hey, we're gonna take 10 minutes up on YouTube Live or something. But yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and move on. I will go ahead and say the next was EA. EA didn't do bad, in my opinion. They could have done a lot worse. Between A Way Out, like I said, Need for Speed was pretty cool for what I saw, and yeah, and then they had the Madden story looks interesting. And then Star Wars. It looks kick-ass. It looks like the Star Wars Battlefront that we should have gotten in the first game.
Yeah, no, I think that's a solid pick. Um, Definitely not as bad as Bethesda. They had a few more games to show. I do want to highlight the fact that Madden's getting a Space Jam inspired story mode, which, I think it's really interesting that they're making this push for stories. We'll see if it pays off for them. I know the one in FIFA is pretty popular, but and of
The
course
journey,
Battlefront
baby.
just looks incredible. And I think one of the
Yeah.
bigger surprises was A Way Out. I don't think anybody really expected that from EA, that kind of game. And it looks good. So
Yeah. If you played A Brother Tale of Two Sons, it's made by the exact same studio. And if you haven't played Brother Tales of Two Sons, go play it because it's a really good game.
Yeah, EA's slightly better than Bethesda. I mean, but really, the only thing I really cared about was probably Battlefront 2. And that's about it.
Mm.
I didn't care for FIFA.
You don't care
I didn't
about
what
really
what
care
FIFA?
for the Battle 1 stuff.
oh man. What I did think was interesting though is like what has been their big selling point with Battlefront so far? What's the big addition? Campaign. They didn't show off any campaign. They gave us like 15 to 20 minutes of multiplayer, which looks good. But I just think it's very odd. They keep trying to tell it's like, oh, we got the campaign, but like they never show us the campaign.
See,
I don't
that's
know.
the thing, though, is that as much as I wanted a campaign, I definitely see the aspect of if EA said there's not a way to properly do one, I would have been like, unlike a lot of Star Wars games, Battlefront is one game I can buy that there's no need for a single player in this game.
Yeah, I get that.
But I would like to see it because there's people that are like they've hired writers for this, so
Dude,
and
they got that Mitch Dyer.
I know. And then they even like they had the person that like started in the single player introduce a whole bunch of Battlefront stuff. But like I think this will literally just be like a Battlefield campaign with a Star Wars paint coated over it.
That pretty much sums up the first Battlefront. It feels like a Battlefield reskin.
Which it was all right. Like I think Battlefront 1 got a pretty bad rep because I thought it was fun. It did get a little repetitive, but I thought it was fun. Um, anyone else got anything to say before we move on?
On EA, no, I think we got pretty much it all colored. It was it was another one where they had 3 games, and I'm not even sure they even needed a conference either, because they didn't even talk about their sports games all that much. It was like, oh, here's a story campaign trailer. Oh, here's another story, and then we're done. That would have been. I think they would have been done a lot better if they just put Way Out and then Battlefront and then whatever the other game was they showed, just in a different conference. Sony already had the marketing for Battlefront, so I don't even know why it wasn't there anyway. And then Anthem was such a tease, like they could have just completely left that to Microsoft. So I think this just proves once again that you shouldn't have to feel like you need to have a conference if you don't have the games to show. And Bethesda and EA clearly showed us this year that they really didn't need conferences.
And this one will probably shock a few people. I'm gonna put Ubisoft next because like Beyond Good and Evil, everyone's gonna say Beyond Good and Evil 2 was probably the best thing ever. That if you waited like a day, that game hasn't even started production. It's in day 0 of production. That game probably won't be out till 2020, 2019 at the earliest.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Then you got Skull and Bones, which looked cool, and then the Rabbids game looked interesting. I'm not gonna say it looks amazing, but it looks pretty interesting.
I still think it's meh.
It turned my head. I thought it was gonna be like a cringy as hell Mario Party.
I think that's what most people expected because of the Rabbids and stuff. But yeah, I don't think anybody at that play with Mario. I don't think that was on anybody's radar.
Yeah,
but I think it looks interesting. But I think this is where I maybe would differ for me personally. I might put Ubisoft over Microsoft by a hair.
Ooh.
Just because with Ubisoft, I feel like there were some more surprises that I didn't see coming. Like I didn't see Beyond Good and Evil 2. I didn't see XCOM Mario coming. I didn't see Skull and Bones. And so with all these like new fresh announcements, I don't know, it was kind of exciting to watch. And it was like quick too. They didn't drag that conference out like Microsoft kind of padded it out a little bit. So
yeah, because I was looking at this like because for my next 2 picks, I had to like rewatch or relook at the conferences and kind of decide what games was I like, oh, that's cool. And I really don't know still even yet. It's kind of like a toss-up. But I know my number one without a shadow of a doubt. That one completely stole the show.
Girls, but I think about Ubisoft versus Microsoft.
I think Microsoft showed off between Metro, Crackdown, and Cuphead and Tacoma. Even though Ori, yeah, I mean, between those games, I was like, I'm massively more excited for those games than I am
of the console itself.
Well, don't even get me started on that console. It's oh my god.
All right, well, so what's your next pick, Tyler? Because I feel like we're already sort of going into it, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, mine. Okay, so mine was Ubisoft. After that, then it was Microsoft.
Okay.
But Ghouls, did you agree with me that Ubisoft was the next worst conference after EA?
There's really not much I was interested in besides like probably Assassin's Creed and maybe Beyond Good and Evil 2, but that game ain't coming out for a while.
But we'll go ahead. Yours was micro. Okay, Gores, are you agreeing with me with Microsoft? And then Steven, you're saying Ubisoft had a better conference as a whole, though, right?
See, this is where it gets complicated because I would say if it's on a pure conference level, Microsoft's probably a bit better. I guess I'm judging it based off what Microsoft needed it to be and them not delivering what they needed as a company.
Yeah, because
So
that
maybe I'm being a little
I
biased.
agree with you there because I like it's we said this like before. If you just judge this as a conference, like Microsoft could have won E3. Just like if you just didn't know anything.
Pure games, that they showed.
But then you look at what the hell does Microsoft need? You're like, oh, this did absolutely nothing for them.
And so that's where I'm struggling. Maybe that's why I would only put Ubisoft ahead because Ubisoft had nothing really to prove, where Microsoft had a lot to prove, and I don't feel like they quite hit the mark. But they did show a bunch of games, and there wasn't too many cringe moments. So
I mean, yeah,
it was a good
I,
conference.
I think Microsoft, yeah, like, see, the reason the reason Microsoft didn't land the mark is that if it showed more AAA, just more AAA. I'm not even saying like exclusives. Like if they just showed more of what the Scorpio could do instead of showing 25 indie games, then maybe I could have judged this better. But they're trying to get people to say, buy this 4K console and play these indie games on it. I'm like, come on. That's not what I'm buying a 4K console for.
Yeah, and we'll get to the differences between him and Sony next, because I bet Sony's probably your next one. But yeah, Microsoft kind of took this like more is more approach, and there was like not a real quality control. They literally were just showing anything that they had a set of somewhat of a contract on.
Yeah, and I
And
even
in
think.
some instances it paid off.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I think in some instances it paid off because I think the big stereotype that Microsoft's had the last few years is like they have no games. And so I think Phil was feeling this pressure like, I need to just show everything so people can just shut up about us not having games. Look, we have 42 games that have some sort of exclusive. Some of it's like a 3-month time deal, and then some are true exclusives, their first party lineup.
Yeah.
But the problem is a lot of those games, some of those indie games, like they weren't even like the good kind of indie. They were just kind of like they were there. And so I was like, I don't really see what the impact is.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't build momentum. It's just kind of like, oh, okay. When are you going to show me the next Crackdown footage? And that's what a lot of time they were showing, like their montage of indies. I was like, where's like the next Anthem? Where's like the next Crackdown? Or Sea of Thieves? And those weren't.
And like, for instance, like I just wanted to see. I would even think this conference would be better to an extent if they took some of these indie games out, because then it just kind of like, okay, game, okay, world exclusive, okay, okay, I don't care. And then you just have to kept going and kept it going, which is fine. I get like he wants to show games, but like, for instance, show more. Like I would have loved to see like a Way Out or something exclusive and like in 4K, blah blah blah, whatever. Than like seeing like 3 games about survival, like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, the one that had like that MLG like casting.
Oh yeah.
And then we could have just had a lot more, I think, quality than just to. Than just kind of just sitting there and just putting whatever they could together.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. If they had shown their core first-party stuff in a more meaningful way and maybe like one other surprise announcement, I would have maybe said they might have done the best, or like towards the best. But there was like the Minecraft 4K, they spent way too long on Forza, and then like 20 minutes on indies. That kind of brought it down a little bit.
For 42 games, there was a bunch of unnecessary stuff they showed off.
Yeah, like even personally, like if you cook off like 3 of those games, probably one of your more like Dragon Ball Z fighters. If you would have given like people like an on-stage demo of that, people would have lost their shit.
It would have been amazing, but they didn't do that.
It's
All they did was trailer after trailer after trailer after trailer.
yeah, and like for
It
instance,
gets very
Shadow of
boring.
War. Oh my God, that game looks incredible, and I can see like okay, now that's gonna look good. But again, no. Let's just put this. No parent. I don't believe this for a second on this planet. A parent is going to walk into a store, say, I want an Xbox One X so my son can play Minecraft in 4K. I just find that the absolute hardest thing for me to believe.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head right there. Hit it on the head right there.
And you're trying to market and even feel like in interviews, this is a premium console for the premium gamer. The premium gamer doesn't think Minecraft's that interesting anymore.
Not
No,
anymore. If this
not
had come out
anymore.
like 3 years ago at the height of Minecraft, you might have gotten a couple 100,000 sales off of it from like some kid who's like just bitching at their parents nonstop to get them the console. But yeah, Minecraft. It's the ship sort of sailed to a point. Like it's still super popular, but it's like on the slow descent. We've sort of peaked and we're kind of turning over the hill now.
Yeah, it's not even like cracking in like NPD top 10s anymore, so
So I'm sure they're making a ton of money off skin packs and all those kind of stuff, but I just
yeah,
don't think people really care too much anymore.
for sure. I can't care anymore. I like it's
But let's go over since they had a lot of exclusives. What remind me of what each of the big first party games were.
now, are we talking like indies as well or like big AAA?
Include
Oh boy.
Cuphead and like and Ori, but yeah, I would include Cuphead and Ori since they've been booking those basically as first party for the last 3 years.
Yeah, besides that, they had Tacoma, Cuphead, Super Lucky's Tale, Ori and the Blind, Ori and the Wills, my bad. Forza 7, Crackdown, and Sea of Thieves.
I'll give them
So
credit.
7 games.
I'll give them credit for introducing games of different variety this time around.
Yeah, no, I get you. That's good.
Yeah,
But I don't think it's gonna be enough to sell you a $500 console.
yeah,
And
but
yeah.
but I said this last night. But like nobody, the premium gamer's not gonna get a console to buy Super Lucky's Tale. I'm not saying the game's bad or it's wrong, but that's not a game that they're like, oh my God, I can't wait to see the graphics on this in 4K. The people that are gonna buy this are those people that are only gonna buy those mature rated games that are the hardcore games.
They want the Forzas, they want the Crackdowns, they want the Halos and the Gears, and 2 of the big killers weren't even there this year, which I thought was very odd.
Fine, like all right, and I'll even say this. Fine, if you want to do it without it, but even let's talk about why the hell did 343 not announce like Halo 3 Remastered? They've done it literally for every single game. That had
Well,
seemed like
they
a miss
feel
only.
like they don't need to because Halo 3's graphics still look amazing even today.
But you could have
But
given
where's
it
like
the
a
blue
4K?
cutscenes, and I'm guaranteeing you, if you put a $60 price tag on it, even though people are gonna be pissed, they're gonna buy it.
Yeah, I think you throw the 4K graphics engine on it, lock it at 60 frames, blur cutscenes. You don't have to really adjust the graphics. I think people would buy it, and I think it would get people hyped.
Or you could
Even simply, where's the Halo 5 4K patch? Every other game was getting a 4K patch, but not that. It's odd, you know.
And I think it's probably because they're realizing that Halo 5 is not doing so hot.
But what game will continue to do hot as Halo 3. I'm guaranteeing
about
you.
sales.
If here's what you could actually do realistically to make Halo 3's graphics better, and because it's still a nice looking game. Here's what you make Halo 3 in the Halo 5 engine. then literally you just remaster the maps, put it out there, put the blur cutscenes in, you're done. You literally you get money. It's like you hate money
But what's the point of it? I
because
don't
you don't
know.
have
Like,
another
what would be the
exclusive
point of? No, what would be the point of
Yeah.
it when it's on the Master Chief Collection?
because it
Well, the
doesn't
Master Chief
work.
Collection doesn't work. If the Master Chief
Well, that's
Collection
true.
worked, I would completely agree with you, girls. It's like that's
You know,
redundant.
actually, why would you actually? Yeah, actually, it's a good idea. How about instead of making a remaster, you fix the fucking game? There you go.
Oh, then that would have been even better if they're like MCC. We fixed it. It works, and everything's you. There's a 4K patch. You can play all the games in 4K now. I
Then
don't
you don't
think
even need
anybody's
to
gonna be upset about that.
remaster. You don't even need to remaster Halo. You just fix the fucking game. That's all you need to do. It's not rocket science.
But yeah, so I guess we'll go ahead and move on to probably everybody's next. Sony. I will say Sony. The
Mm.
Sony hit a low ball here to me in aspects of a lot of the games again here will not be able to be played till 2018. And right now they're kind of putting all the eggs into Nino Kuni 2, Gran Turismo Sport, and Knack 2.
I just, my problem with this conference is all of the games they showed off. Most of them we already know about.
Yeah, they
We
also
already
have
knew about
Uncharted as
Spider-Man.
well. I
We already
completely
knew
forgot
about
about
God of
Uncharted.
War.
But are you going to really rely on Uncharted again? I mean, I guess you could.
Dude, when those
I mean,
games
we
are as good
already,
as they are each time, it's
and
kind
the
of like
only
their
new
Halo
thing,
right now almost.
and the only new things is a remaster of a game that's over 10 years old, or a remake. I'm sorry, it's a
Hmm.
remake. And Monster Hunter, and that other zombie game that kind of reminds you of The Last of Us. Forgot the name of it
Until
already.
Days Gone.
There you go.
Days Gone. Oh, that game looks sick.
It looks
So,
great. It's just
go ahead,
most
Griff.
of the conference are games we already know about. You already knew God of War was going to be there. You already knew Uncharted was going to be there. You knew about Spider-Man, and Spider-Man was their ultimate blow-off. It's like they had nothing to me this year, besides like a couple new games and a bunch of VR shit.
And
And
that's,
that's that.
I think, on a conference level, Sony's was still better than Microsoft's because they only showed you the AAA. They showed these are our biggest hitters, and look at how good our games look. Which is something we would slam on Microsoft is like they're pushing a 4K console, but all of their games are like cell shaded. Crackdown, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2. They all have kind of a cell shaded look. They're not the prettiest. Sea of Thieves is pretty, but like especially Crackdown and Sea of Thieves not real pretty.
And
Sony though,
it
if
doesn't
you look
help
at
the
their
fact
game,
that
go ahead.
they're all PC. That a lot of the games they showed off are also on Steam.
True. And I think with Sony, at the very least, it helps that like if you're looking at the two conferences, Sony's games look like they could be like top tier Xbox X games by the way their graphics look. And I think that's what they were showing. Like this is where you come to play big, AAA, beautiful games. And I think that's what they're trying to push. And I completely agree with you, girls. There wasn't really any surprises. I would say the only two surprises there were was as we showed Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man gameplay, which we didn't know if it was going to be gameplay or not. And then we got Shadow of Colossus remake, which cool. Great game, love it. Don't know if this needed to be the big like
If it needed to be a
look.
thing, like you could have just easily
Yeah,
ported the Ico and Shadow of the Colossus on PS4, and you could have had the same effect, honestly.
well, this could because the thing is, Sony has so many conferences here. They could have saved this for PlayStation Experience in December, and it probably would have been a much bigger deal there. Honestly, it
Yeah.
seemed odd here. Um, but yeah, I
It's
agree.
just
Not a lot of
yeah,
surprises,
the game
which
looks
is why it wasn't the best this year, like last year, where they've won
yes,
the last 2 years. So
it looks prettier, but it's basically the same thing unless they improved it. I hope they did because one of the worst aspects of Shadow of the Colossus was getting to the damn thing. Like you had no idea how long it usually takes.
Yeah, I totally could see them reworking the controls because the controls are a little finicky, to put it lightly.
My only issue is that the default control for jumping was triangle, but you can map that, so it's not a big deal.
And I bet that's what they'll do. I think the big improvements will be frame rate, graphics, and controls. I don't really see them, and they'll probably have like a photo mode or something like that. I don't really see them doing
Y'all like
much
God of War
else.
3, and you all know how that game turned out on
I
PS4 at
thought the
least.
God of War, I thought it was good. It like I couldn't really tell a difference because God of War 3 was like already like incredible looking, but it wasn't. It didn't run bad or anything. It just not necessary. Is maybe the best way to put it. What do you think, Tyler?
I think that Sony, it had issues of definitely like Days Gone. I'm hyped for. I feel like almost I was expecting completely different because I feel like, of course, I knew Days Gone and Spider-Man was gonna be there. Monster Hunter was cool, but
If
like,
that had been exclusive, that would have been hype. But with it being third party, I can't really give Sony a win there because like that was most of Microsoft's conference was just like here's third party games. So.
yeah, um, and then like, and then Uncharted was cool, but we knew that's coming, and that isn't even that far off. Um, but it's
No Crash is kind of interesting.
well because Crash is
Well,
out
that's
in
'cause it's
15
coming out in,
days.
like, a
You
couple-
you kind of know what you're
Yeah.
gonna get with
You would
Crash.
think, yeah, you would think they would have showed off one more like hype trailer, just like go buy the game. It's out like this week.
They did in the
another
previews, so there
was
was
it in
no
the pre-show?
point. Yeah,
And that's the other thing
there
that I
was
thought
no
was weird.
point.
Tyler, I didn't watch the pre-show, but Tyler mentioned like three pretty good exclusives. Like they're not AAA, but they're like kind of that AA level.
Yeah,
And
Yeah, they
I'm
announced
surprised they
Ni no
didn't.
Kuni 2. They announced Undertale for PS4, and I think Gran
Everybody's
Turismo
Golf.
Sports.
yeah,
Yeah,
Knack
Matterfall
2.
and Everybody's Golf. Oh, and Knack 2. Which, no, these aren't AAA games, but if you're looking to kind of make the conference a little bit more meaty, I would have put those there.
Yeah. And then they also showed off like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, with that game kind of just coming into a shit so almost just because of Marvel just licensing out fucking everything.
Yeah, that's not Sony's fault. but
I
yeah,
seen the
totally-
roster. It is abysmal. The graphics look ugly as all fuck. Like, what happened? Why didn't they just stick with the style that MVC3 had?
Be
Why you gotta make it shitty, guys?
I think they wanted to update it, and then Marvel. Here's probably, in my opinion, what happened. Capcom loves this franchise to death. Capcom. I meant to say Capcom. Marvel came up and said, "You guys can make another game, but this is your game that you can make. You have to follow these guidelines, or you can't make it."
But they limit so much. This is like I think this is like the shortest roster I've ever seen. I think hell,
Yeah,
base
and
MVC3.
I mean, I made a video on this. I think that it was a very, like, if all these characters are balanced and none of them are, like, top tier, fine, I'm okay with the roster size, but that never seems to happen. But, like, all the characters are from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is a bummer. But what I can say is that DLC roster looks good right now. It's going to be Sigma, and most likely Venom, and then they still have four other characters they are doing DLC for. If you could get Azura from Azura's Wrath in there, and maybe get Amaterasu in there, and then I'm trying to decide for Marvel.
How do you even do I would love Amaterasu. No, trust me, that's hype. Like, how does that even work? That's a dog.
You have no idea.
Just you hit B a lot.
I hope that gets nerfed, but
Well, that's even
I'm
if she's in the
hoping
game. But
for a few
my
more
big
characters.
character that I wanted to see is Azura, and it doesn't look like that's happening.
Fans gonna probably add more Street Fighter characters. Like, we're not sick and tired of them.
Yeah, they didn't overload you with Street Fighter characters. Like, people are bitching about Akuma too. I'm not too upset about Akuma
Akuma's
not
in
being.
Tekken 7. why would you put him in another game when he's already in Tekken 7?
Because he's actually a valuable part of the story now, like a very valuable part. It's kind of weird, but I won't spoil that.
Is
You
he
can watch
getting
the Let's Play
welcomed
that's
in the
coming up.
family?
But yeah, it's all right. But yeah, Sony didn't really deliver what I wanted. But like out of the exclusives they had that are coming, their 2018 lineup looks great with God of War, Spider-Man, Days Gone. What else do they have coming out in
Detroit
2018?
is a maybe. Detroit
Yeah.
could be a maybe. I'm a little worried about Detroit because the demo they showed was the trailer that they showed at E3 last year. You just could play it finally. And I'm like, is this game like 2019? Like we've been seeing it for 2 years already. Like,
Yeah,
and this is
Maybe.
where like Sony and Microsoft have very different strategies. Like Phil only shows off like what's coming out like within 12 months, and Sony shows off stuff that's like 4 years out. And I kind of wish Sony would take more of a middle approach. Like we'll show you the next 2 years, not the next like 5 years out. You know, and Microsoft needs to like show more stuff as well. Because all
Yeah.
this stuff, like after spring of next year, like what do they have? I don't know anything.
I think Sony's gonna have Days Gone, God of War. What else? What was the other thing?
Days Gone and God of War. God of War is probably in the spring. Days Gone is probably their fall game, the way they're talking.
Last of Us, possibly, but I wouldn't bank
no.
on it.
No way. No way. Unless they've been working on it a lot longer than they made it seem like they've been working on it. And then I think they could do Spider-Man will be next year as well.
Oh yeah,
And
Spider-Man.
I
That's the
could
other
see-
thing.
And the Sucker Punch game could kind of come out of nowhere. Like they've been working on that since Second Son, which was a PS4 launch title.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, I'm really curious what Sucker Punch is up to.
Which is
maybe
weird because during go ahead.
maybe they could also do like another Ratchet and Clank game. I don't know how big Insomniac is, but
Oh, that'd be really cool if they did like.
I
I hope
was-
it's not another
I'm
remake,
still-
but like. Go ahead.
I'm still curious why they ultimately let Insomniac do the Spider-Man game when Sucker Punch has been making superhero-based games for a while now with Infamous and all.
I think it probably came down to is because Sucker Punch is first party. They probably have. How do I put it? They probably have the authority to say we're done with superheroes for a while. So they probably were they probably had priority, and if they said we're done with superheroes, Sony was like, okay.
I
And
also
so,
think
Insomniac-
that they have a very strong relationship too, and that if this is also kind of a business strategy, think about it like, oh, I could give it to Insomniac and then also not let Microsoft make a game with them too, and then I can use my first party studio for something else as well.
No, that's a great point, and it's not Insomniac
That's really smart.
does combat very well. That's one of their strengths. And on top of that, Sunset Overdrive really showed their ability to do traversal and finally build an open world, which is not stuff they've typically done. And so I think it's a big deal for them. It helps kind of put them back on the map since Sunset Overdrive kind of underperformed for Microsoft. So this kind of helps
Because
lift them back
it was
up.
released 2013. Was that when Sunset Overdrive was released?
I believe so.
It was
2014.
it was at launch. Yeah.
Okay, so it was during the time when the Xbox One was still getting a lot of shit for that god awful E3. So it's just no wonder
And it
why.
wasn't their
If it
fault,
was
yeah.
another year, had it been another year, we would have been telling a different story about that game.
Completely agree. Completely agree with you. I think if it had come out like last year or this year, I think it would have done gangbusters. It would have been like one of their top sellers because it is a fantastic game. So, and I wish Phil would have given them a second chance, but Phil's kind of making bad decisions all around. So,
Yeah, even Insomniac said we're ready to do a second Overdrive, but then you just gotta ask Microsoft. So, yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and move on to the Blockbuster conference. We won't be able to take that much time, but Nintendo, that's without a doubt the best conference in my opinion.
I was shocked.
They brought what
I
they
was
needed to
really shocked.
bring.
And then even then, they brought some surprises that we weren't even expecting. You want to just start us off, kind of telling us what they brought, Tyler, and then we'll kind of
Well,
discuss.
well, first off, you got the what people are saying gamer show again. Super Mario Odyssey. I think Super Mario Odyssey looks awesome in every way, shape, and form. My only personal concern is I don't know how much gimmicky I can deal with the hat of like going into people. That could get extremely gimmicky, but I said that
Dude,
about
there's
Blood,
all
but
sorts of
Blood was
ethical
the
problems with
best thing
that.
ever.
So can we talk about the ethics of Mario against their will taking over their body?
It's a
Like it's pretty dark.
I don't
It's
care.
pretty dark.
It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon, so I don't really care.
And for his own personal gain.
You can do the same thing in Murder Soul Suspect. So yeah.
It's dark. That's all I'm saying. People always want to say Nintendo doesn't make adult games. They make an adult game.
Well,
Mario's possessing people.
they always been kind of mature. It's just by the GameCube, they're like, we're just gonna make games for kids.
But
So yeah, I
you
think
got
it's
that.
crazy because IGN
Oh,
gave Super Mario Odyssey Game of the Show, and last year Zelda got Game of the Show, and so Nintendo, they're nailing it in terms of first party studios because they keep making these like masterpiece level tier games each year. So
yeah, but that's the real question. So I'm guessing, like, in a couple years, of course, you'll have the 2D Mario. That will maybe be their next big holiday game because you don't push out Zelda. Mario's kind of like their cash cow that they can milk.
yeah, that's because Mario's so diversified. He's like they have him in like so many different types of games and stuff, where Zelda is kind of like just this one thing. But yeah, I don't think we'll see another Zelda on the Switch anytime soon, unless it's like 2D Zelda.
Maybe. They also just said, like, Xenoblade. They didn't show off Xenoblade Chronicles, really. They just kind of said it's still coming this year, despite reports of saying that got delayed until February. Um, Then they also showed off Fire Emblem Warriors, which is cool. Um, I'm excited for the game, but it's really not that much has been shown on it. Um, and then they showed off Kirby and Yoshi, which both of those games look great. But those are not coming out till 2018.
Let's
Yeah, I
just get
thought.
to the big. Just get to the big course. The reason why everybody is saying Nintendo won E3.
Well, this isn't my opinion. This isn't my opinion. I think between everything, Metroid Prime 4 got confirmed. It is now in production, but we don't know on like how late or stage in the game is in development.
So yeah, two
Um,
Metroid games have been announced. One is a remake of the Game Boy game Metroid 2, and then we got
mhm.
Metroid Prime 4.
I'm more hyped
Um,
for the 3DS game.
yeah, because it's been a long ass time since we had a 2D Metroid game. With Metroid Prime 4, I'm really curious where it goes because apparently it's not being made by the same company that's responsible for the Prime trilogy.
Interesting. No, it's not. Yeah, they asked Reggie about it specifically, like on Treehouse Live, or it was Reggie or someone else. And he basically said it's being made by one of their new studios that they made. After during the Wii U days, obviously they just couldn't make enough games. I don't think anybody would argue that against that. And they kind of just started developing more internal studios. So not only do you have like your Mario and Zelda studios, but now you've got like the studio that is Yoshi and Kirby. You've got a studio that does Smash, and now you've got another studio too that's going to work on Metroid, maybe. And so they said it's a bunch of new talent. The only good thing, though, to kind of alleviate people's fears is the producer who worked on all of the Prime games is working on this as well to kind of help shepherd it. So I think that's good.
I just hope these newbies know what they're doing.
If it was anybody but Nintendo, I'd be like, yeah, get worried. But with it being Nintendo, I'm not too worried about it.
I don't know, man. I mean, we had that same thoughts with Other M.
That wasn't Nintendo though. That was who's the guy who makes Ninja Gaiden? It was that studio. Isn't that right? It
Yeah.
was that studio that did
I,
that game.
I played
can't
other
think of
him
the
for
name.
like an hour, and then I was like, this game isn't bad, but it's just is kind of annoying. I just got bored with it. Being told I couldn't use my powers, I'm like, this is dumb. Um, I think otherwise,
There's another.
I think 2D Metroid's got me more hyped. I just love 2D Metroid. I think it's a lot funner style of games to play.
I still think Super Metroid is one of the best games ever made.
The only thing that kind of would slightly diminish the Metroid 2D thing is that it is kind of a remake. It's not an original title, but hopefully
Well,
this
it's
sells real well,
well.
and they'll start making
Here's the
originals
thing.
again.
Here's the thing. The Game Boy game, not a lot of people really cared about because it's on Game Boy. With this
Mhm.
remake, I'm hyped for it because it's probably gonna have better controls. 20 years in the making. The another Metroid 2 project thing that they got taken down, it makes all more sense now why they took it down because they were working on this.
Well, I wonder because I wonder if they took it down and then they just made their own. Because the graphics are good for 3DS, but like those kind of graphics don't take that long. If the level design's already done and you kind of know the story and stuff, all you're really doing is putting a fresh coat of paint on it. So I bet they took it down and they're like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and make an official one. And then a year later, here it is. You know.
I think they have their head in the right place. So
It's
Yeah,
a
I
hell of a
think.
lot better than previous years.
Oh yeah, I do like that. At least for the fans, it feels like our voices have finally been heard, which is good. Because we've been asking for Metroid, and
Because for
Nintendo's
years
like,
we've been
here you go. Here's
bashing on
both of
Nintendo
them.
for not getting with the times, for not, using all of their assets to the fullest potential. Well, it's like, surprise, motherfucker.
and
Here
then
you are.
next
Here's what you've
year
been waiting
probably
for.
actually probably Nintendo's game next year, big game will be the Pokemon RPG that's being developed for the Switch. So but Nintendo, you should
And then
totally make Pokemon Snap 2 a reality. Just putting that one out there.
No,
what's
that,
what's
that shit
also
was boring.
interesting, um,
Gruel.
I'd say that felt like a reaction announcement was that Pokemon one, because they did that Nintendo Direct where they talked all about Pokemon, and they didn't mention that, and everyone got on the internet got super triggered about it because they're like, we want a home console for the first time ever RPG Pokemon with good graphics, and all of a sudden 2 weeks later, boom, here it is. It's a thing. We have nothing to show you. It's coming out a long time from now, but we're working on it. That felt like a reaction kind of thing.
I feel like,
Which I'm not
yes,
complaining.
it could have been a reaction announcement, but it also could have been like, if I feel like they could have put all that into the E3 thing, like the Pokken Tournament DX or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been just a plain old like, hey, this is coming out. It's interesting. Like, I still think they're going to use their they're going to use the asset to the full potential, and I also could see this being like a Pokemon like Coliseum type game.
Oh God, I hope not.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Hopefully it's a lot better.
Oh, you guys,
Yeah,
don't shit on Pokemon
okay.
Coliseum 2. That game was incredible.
It's okay.
The problem is you had to use the original cartridges, and as you all know, Game Boy batteries usually die out within like 10 years or so.
That's true too. That's actually a real thing. Um, yeah, I would. It needs to be like the real deal. And there's been so many leaks about Pokemon Stars, which is kind of like the Pokemon Yellow version of the original trilogy. So I could see them kind of doing like it's like a super remaster of Sun and Moon with a lot of new content, brand new visuals, and there it is.
Yeah.
And what's also cool about Nintendo is they didn't show off the new Fire Emblem. That's for next year, the RPG. So we know that's still coming. They teased Pikmin still in the works. It's a done deal. We're getting Animal Crossing at some point, whether you like this or not. It's coming. And then
Yeah.
there's a lot of rumors on Smash Brothers, like a super remaster on that. And so Nintendo like brought
That's
us
the
the most
case.
surprises, and they still have so many cards on the table they haven't even played yet. So if you're a Nintendo fan, like this is like your wet dream, you know. They
Yeah,
like
it's
finally
got
did
it
it.
coming, but I will say Nintendo, they've got to be smart about it because, of course, a lot of the games from the Wii U are just going to get ported. That's just kind of a
Mm.
fact at
I
this
don't
point.
blame. I don't blame them because the Wii U was one of the worst consoles they ever made.
But the thing is, though, is the console itself wasn't bad. It was just
It
the
wasn't bad.
cons.
It's just marketed so
It's
horribly.
Nintendo's fault that it's the way it was because the console
Yeah, because
played itself. Like, it had games, just not enough.
yeah, and they were good. Yeah, it had good games, and so I would totally be okay if they do budget versions. Like, here's the Yoshi Woolly World. Here's that Kirby Deluxe game, whatever that game was. They're like $20. Captain Toad, $20. They're all on the eShop right now. That'd give a new generation of people a chance to play those old games, and like heck, I might even rebuy one or two of those games because I love Captain Toad and Woolly World. So,
See, I wanted to
um,
play Woolly Wood. I'm just waiting for Woolly Wood to go down in price. I actually bought Xenoblade Chronicles X for like $8 at GameStop a couple days ago, so I need to play that.
oh nice.
I still
So,
need to
but
get
yeah,
around playing the original Xenoblade Chronicles.
but yeah, it looks like Nintendo has done a lot of good things this time.
Yep.
So, and it looks like they've got their production
It's by
pipeline.
far the best conference of the show, and honestly, it's not that hard considering the competition.
All right.
True.
So now we get on to our most anticipated games, the top 5 most anticipated games of the show. Um so basically the rules here they don't have there's no rules really. As long as the game was like shown, like I wouldn't necessarily count Beyond Good and Evil 2 because it was legit just a trailer.
Yeah, I tried to keep it to games that like we actually had gameplay for. That's how I did my list at least.
And yeah, so I can count it any way, shape, or form, even if you saw like some gameplay from like an outlet or something. But yeah, you just as long as gameplay was really shown. And who wants to kick us off?
I'll go first. So coming in at number 5 for me is Cuphead. Why? Well, I've always been a big fan of those old retro cartoons, whether it be Bugs Bunny and those Disney, Popeye, Sarah Man, that kind of stuff. And this looks like a game that's meant for people like me who are nostalgic for that kind of stuff. I'm really excited to play this game. I really can't wait to see what it's like because it looks stunning. It looks like it came straight out of the 1930s.
Mm.
So
I agree.
my number 4 is Spider-Man
Wait.
Are
PS4.
we doing? Hey, wait,
Yeah,
Ghouls?
Ghouls,
Are we
we're doing it one at a time.
style? Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, Steven, go ahead and
We'll let
go
you go
because
last
then
time,
I'll
like,
go
yeah.
last. That way I can end the thing.
My number 5, which will not probably be popular in this room, but I thought the new Assassin's Creed actually looked not bad, like pretty good. I think the setting looks really interesting. The visuals have gotten a big update. They don't look like PS2 games anymore. And they've made some pretty radical changes to the combat system, which may or may not pay off. So it got me kind of excited because I didn't think Unity or Syndicate were very good. The last good game they made was Black Flag, and so this is kind of their make or break. If they don't nail it with this one, I think the franchise is going to get put on ice. So we'll see what happens. But it got me kind of hyped.
All right. Well, coming in at number 5 is Days Gone. This game, every time I see it, I get more and more hyped for it. When I first got announced, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of dumb," just because it was when more zombies games were coming out. I also think this got announced like the same E3 as Dead Rising, so I was like, I don't even give a shit. My fucking favorite zombie game's here, so I don't give a shit. And I also didn't know how much they were really going to use the biker gimmick of the game, which it still kind of seems like they're going to somewhat use it, but it's more of a like it's not really a zombie game because they want to use the zombies for aesthetics, and you're like, oh shit, I gotta run. But yeah, I think Days Gone looks more and more impressive every time I see it. It looks like it's gonna be Last of Us, kind of, with the
Kind
humans
of.
that with the humans almost, and you gotta kind of play a little more strategic, maybe. I don't know, but it looks impressive.
All right, so my turn again.
Yes.
Yes.
Number 4, Spider-Man PS4. I've been a fan of Spider-Man for my entire life. I've watched the TV shows, I played the games. Spider-Man 2000, one of my favorite games ever made on the PlayStation 1. This game looks pretty good. I mean, yes, it looks very Arkhamish, but then again, Deadpool was very Arkhamish. Sleeping Dogs and Arkham style combat. I don't mind it. I just want to see how well it works. And I can't wait to see what the story is about because this looks like a very interesting game. I hope Insomniac really sets out and makes their own Spider-Man story worth it.
All right. Go ahead and go, Steven.
My next one was Battlefront 2. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I liked Battlefront growing up a lot as a kid, especially like Battlefront 2. I played that probably more than anything besides Halo 2 back in the day, like during my high school, junior high days. And so the first one, it was okay. Great visuals. It was kind of dumb fun, but there was a lot left off the table. And this one seems like this is kind of the game they should have always made. And so it's got me hyped. And then the fact that we're playing as the bad guys in the campaign, which has like never been done for Star Wars, it's interesting. I'm like really into it.
Actually, Battlefront, the original Battlefront 2 had you play as
Oh,
stormtroopers.
that's true. You were playing as like the stormtroopers, but it wasn't like there was like that campaign was pretty much
Oh,
like
and
you're kind of just like
and Force
redoing.
Unleashed. Force Unleashed,
He was a good guy
kinda.
though.
That you play he started off as a bad guy first, but he ultimately gradually became a good guy.
But this one looks like, from what they're saying, is like I think you start as a bad guy, and I think you're gonna end as a bad guy, which is kind of different. And like Battlefront 2, like there's a campaign, but it like wasn't like that good of a story. It was kind of like, hey, here's like some narration, and then go like kill people.
All
But
right.
yeah, the graphics look a lot better. You know, it looks like everything's added that was cut the first time, so it's one of my get hype moments of the show.
All right. I'll go ahead and go. I wanted to rank this higher, but the only thing, if they would have taken out this OC creation thing, is Sonic Forces. This would have gotten higher, but
Sonichu.
this would have, if
You
the,
know you want to create your hedgehog.
it's gonna get gimmicky as hell. But from what it looks like, the game looks incredible. I'm so hyped for these upcoming Sonic games they have coming out. It's legit. I'm so happy to see all these Sonic games. With between Sonic Mania, I didn't put Sonic Mania on this list because I still have some doubts about Sonic Mania being as good as I want it to be. But from the looks of it, it looks really cool. But Sonic Forces, I love 3D Sonic, and they're making the good 3D Sonic. They're taking the fucking Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations. They're saying you can have 2D Sonic from Sonic Generations, and then you can create your OC, which I don't know how well it's going to be, but I'm excited for it.
I'm just excited because I'll probably skip. I can't wait for all the playthroughs with Sonichu in them.
Tyler, don't be embarrassed. I'm getting Sonic Forces too, and I'm gonna love it because I love Generations.
Oh no, I'll get it too. It's just I can't wait for all the playthroughs of Sonichu and Mocking Christian.
All right, Ghouls, what's your number 3?
All right, my turn again. Code Vein.
Code
Souls
Vein.
was a game. Dark Souls
Ooh,
was
no
a
one saw
game.
that coming.
Dark Souls was a game that I really couldn't get myself into for the longest time, but I managed to pick it up again, and I fell in love. I started to really like it, and now I'm hooked, and I can't wait to try out the other games and learn about them and all that kind of stuff. And Code Vein looks like it's up my alley.
See, my only problem with Code Vein, I love the art style. I like the idea of vampires and all that. My only concern is that I need to see more boss battles because the Surge burnt me quite a bit. I was really excited for the game, and then it
Lords of
kind of
Fallen.
just like they didn't have enough bosses. I saw a review that said there were only 5 bosses in the game, and they're like, oh, these fucking normal enemies are what's gonna kill you a lot. And I was like, fuck this.
And Lords of the Fallen is just easy as all hell. At least for your first playthrough. Because
But yeah,
literally the bosses are so pathetic, it's telegraphed.
Oh, Tyler, you might want to put the party to, to private.
yeah, I did
I'm starting to get
already.
invites from other people. Okay. Is it my
All right, I
turn?
guess you can go ahead and get number 3.
My number three is that God of War. I'm a huge fan of the original trilogy, and Ascension was like all right. It was whatever. And then I think the two PSP games, Chains of Olympus and Ghost Sparta, very good as well. So this franchise overall is like a 9 out of 10 consistently. And so I love that they brought him back because the ending of 3 was ambiguous to say the least. And I like that they're developing his character because he is kind of just like a rage monster in the original games. Like he's just angry. Like that's all he is, just angry the whole time. And
He's
here he looks
Goku.
like he's a dad who's like trying to control his anger, trying to teach his son. And we've got the new setting of the Norse gods, which being able to potentially fight, Odin, Thor, Loki, all that kind of stuff looks really cool. And of course, on a visual level, it looks like beyond good. Like Xbox One X wishes it could run this game.
Oh,
So it looks. Oh, shots fired. And they said that trailer at E3 was running on a normal PS4. So it looks great. It looks
That's
fantastic.
pretty impressive.
all right.
That's
Tyler.
pretty impressive.
Okay. Well, coming in at number 3, I couldn't. I wanted to rank this game higher, but at the end of the day, I couldn't do it over the other two. Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Oh yeah.
This game looks. It legit just looks incredible. I can't say another positive things about it. Every time I see it, I just get giddy.
I played Axie's previous works like Guilty Gear. I can trust him that this is gonna be a great. I trust him. You're gonna get a good product out of this, because Guilty Gear Xrd and Xrd Revelation and Xrd Revelator. Bleh. God, those games are gorgeous, and they play so good.
So Tyler, I'm a little upset with you right now because
Why?
you
'Cause
just took my number one pick.
Oh,
Dragon Ball Z Fighters was my most hype thing of the game, and I love Mario Odyssey, and I love a lot of these other games, but Dragon Ball Z like literally defined my childhood. Like I watched it when I was like in 4th or 5th grade for the first time, and like I'm still watching it today, and I'm 20.
That's weird, because I remember vividly watching Dragon Ball Z. I never got into it. I got into Gundam more.
Oh really? You got into Gundam War? I never knew.
Yeah.
Girls. But yeah, just I loved the Budokai games, which were kind of like the big PS2 games at that time. And then they sort of switched to this behind the, it kind of went 3D and you like fly around the maps in 3D with the Tenkaichi.
Budokai Tenkaichi 3, one of my favorite games of all time on the PS2.
And then they did, what was the other one?
And
Then
Raging
they did
Blast.
like the Xenoverse, Raging Blast 1 and 2, and then now they've got like Xenoverse. And like that's just I don't like that gameplay. It's a lot more simple. There's no skill. And so see them go back to the 2D and like holy crap. It
And
looks like
it's
we're
a fighting
literally
game.
playing the anime. Yeah. And it's like a legit
It's a fighting game
game.
too, so no longer you have to you just gotta sit there and charge and wait
Yeah,
for
because like
just wait
the
for
old
to
the
spam
games for
attacks.
the last 8 years it's been like charge up, just push square a lot,
No,
and he
no,
does like the same
we're
combo
finally
every
getting
time.
an actual genuine fighting game treatment.
yeah.
And it looks
Although this
fantastic.
does probably mean the death of Xenoverse, this is
I don't
worth.
know. Because it's two different developers. I could see them doing a Xenoverse 3 in a few years. That's kind of more of your arcade, kind of casual Dragon Ball Z game. And then this is like your hardcore fighting franchise from now on, Dragon Ball Z wise. And this looks like it's doing a better Marvel vs. Capcom than Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, honestly, with the
Oh
3v3.
yeah, definitely. Looks a lot more
For sure.
gorgeous. It doesn't have ugly models.
Oh god, yeah, and that's the thing. The graphics on this it looks like the anime. Like I was blown away by
Yeah,
how
it's
good
actually,
the
believe it or
artwork
not,
was.
it's not 2D. Those are actually 3D models. It's just, it looks so good, you can barely tell the difference.
Yeah,
That's what I love
it
about
looks great.
Axie's games. Their models look stunning. Like, I play Guilty Gear. Oh my god, I did not realize until the introduction of the fighters that they're actually 3D models. They just look so damn good. They're probably some of the best sprites I've ever seen in a fighting game.
Yeah.
Period.
The only thing I'm worried about is the way they were talking. They were very cagey about all the fighters in the game, which makes me think we might have a limited roster because of the time and effort into the
I don't blame them
graphics and the
because a
fighting.
lot of them. I don't blame them because a lot of them were kind of weak.
Yeah.
Like who wants
I
to play
just hope it's.
Scorpio?
Well, yeah, I get that for sure, but I hope it's not. It's got to be at least 20 something. Like I don't need no 30, 40 like in Injustice or like
We
Brawl,
don't.
but they need at least
Hopefully they
get up
don't
to around the
waste
20s.
character slots for people like Free Soldier A or something like they did with Tenkaichi.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
like oh yeah, Tenkaichi. Yeah, those games pad the roster because they don't need like sometimes the characters aren't even
Peel off.
transformations. Yeah, like those are gimmicks, but I, I hope they don't pad it with just like transformations. Like oh, you can get Super Saiyan 4 Goku or Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and that's like its own
Are they
character slot.
gonna
And then you've
include
got normal.
GT though?
I don't know.
Here's the thing about that Ultimate Bat. Like I remember games. I remember older Dragon Ball Z games doing that, and they sucked ass. Like Dragon Ball Z Final Bout and Ultimate
Dude,
Battle
that's P-
22.
dang. You bring up those PS1 games. Yeah.
Those games, because those games suck ass, and they had like a bunch of different Gokus and shit.
Y'all
Um,
just need to stop
Man, I
hating
could
on
totally see
GT.
them doing DLC where they could like, here's like the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta Goku Omega Shenron pack, boom, Ultimate 17, and that would be a cool roster like update. Is you get like the big GT characters. So
My only complaint would be they'll probably do the same thing with Guilty Gear, in which they'll bring in a new game every year to update the roster and such.
oh yeah, I hope it doesn't do like a Street Fighter where there's like Super Street Fighter, Ultra Street Fighter, Ultra Super Mega Edition Street Fighter 4. I hope they don't do that.
Here's the thing: Capcom's done with that shit. They're just resorting to DLC now.
And I don't mind paying for characters, like, that is the content that you want. But I hope they don't like intentionally like make the roster so sparse that like you're forced to, oh, I've got to buy these because they only released it with 14
Well, yeah,
characters or
because they
something like
showed
that,
off. They showed off Gohan. I think
They showed
Frieza.
off Gohan. They showed off
Goku, Vegeta for the
Goku,
heroes.
Self. I think
The three
Cell,
heroes
Frieza,
and then the
Majin
three
Buu.
villains, right?
Yeah, 3 main heroes, 3 main villains. Which there's 6 right there right off the bat. So, like, I guarantee it, they're going to have Trunks.
Yeah,
Like, I guarantee it,
Trunks,
they're going to have
Piccolo.
17 or 18. Piccolo will be in it.
I'm curious about the movie characters. If they're in it.
Broly would probably be the only one. Broly and Cooler would probably be the only movie characters that
Because those
maybe
are the most
Cooler's gonna
popular
be in it
characters
because.
out of them all.
But do you think they're also gonna include super characters?
I could totally see them doing Super, but it's going to be limited. Like they obviously showed
Probably
Golden Frieza already there.
Golden
but you'll
Frieza, Beerus,
go, yeah, you
Black
get
Goku,
Beerus, Black
or
Goku.
Goku Black, whatever his name is.
Yeah, you got to get it right. Goku Black, and that's probably it. Because everybody else we already have them. It's just a transformation, like Super Saiyan Blue and all that kind of stuff. So
Alright. That was my number 3. So,
Alright,
Ghouls,
so-
what is your wait? Was that? Yeah, that was my
That
number
was-
3.
that
What was
was
your
number-
number 2?
no, that was your
Ghouls?
number. That was your number 2.
My number 2, and this might be controversial because it's not necessarily we don't have any gameplay of it, but for a name alone, fuck it, Metroid Prime 4. People have been waiting for so long for a Metroid game, and when it's finally allowed, it's like, holy shit, I can't believe they do it. I can't believe they did it. I'm 100% more excited about getting a Switch now that they're finally using their other assets again. Hopefully. Hopefully
But-
they don't fuck this up though. Star Fox Zero.
Star Fox
Oh,
Zero
dude,
was
don't-
not a bad game.
don't.
Why, I don't know why people bitch on that. It's not bad.
The controls are bad. Like if they had like a normal control scheme, I would have been like, okay, this is not bad. But it was really just like a reskin Star Fox 64, and the graphics, like the Wii U could have done way better graphics than that.
I don't think.
Like especially when you see Super Mario 3D
I don't think the
World and all
controls
those
were
games.
bad. The only time the controls were bad was when you were in the dumb little like walker
That was
thing.
actually my main issue with that game. But I hope they don't. I just hope they don't fuck it up. I hope they remain true. I hope it remains true to Metroid Prime. I just hope it looks great. So yeah, that's because it's a Nintendo. You've actually made it on a top 5 list for me for once.
All right, I'm gonna guess Steven's number 2.
I think we're off slightly because I've already done 3.
Okay.
Because my
Yeah,
top
we already
3,
know
my
your
last
number
3.
one.
Yeah, because I did Assassin's Creed, I've done Battlefront, I've done God of War, and then I told you my number 1 already. So I only have one pick left. So I don't know how we got
Okay.
off, but seems like we
Okay.
got off.
I've only done. Okay. I've done Sonic. Wait, I did. Number 5 was Days Gone, Sonic Forces, then Dragon Ball. Okay. All right.
So
Then
yeah, you
my.
should be saying your number 2 then.
Okay, my number 2 is Super Mario Odyssey.
There it is.
That game just. This game holds back over my number 1 just off the pure fact I don't know how much the gimmick of taking over bodies will get used or how old it will get.
Mm-hmm.
That's my only thing. But besides that, everything else looks good.
The Breath of Fresh Air. They're going to Sonic Adventure route.
All right, but yeah. I'm guessing that's. I'm gonna guess that's Steven's number 2. Ghouls, what is
Yeah.
your number 2?
Yeah.
Well, I already told you my number 2. It's Metroid Prime 4.
Oh, okay. I guess I got lost in the. I got lost, but is that your number 2 as well, Steven?
Metroid. No, Metroid didn't make my list because I tried to pick things that we saw gameplay from. When they show gameplay from Metroid, that's probably gonna be like my number 1, whatever year that'll be.
Is your number 2 Super Mario Odyssey then?
Yeah, my number 2 is Super Mario Odyssey.
Okay, so
I've been begging. Oh, do we want me to talk about it or not talk about it?
Go for it.
we can go ahead. Go for it.
Okay, I'll be quick because I know Tyler kind of already talked about it. I've been begging them to go back to like a Mario 64 style and kind of I guess Sunshine to a point, and we've kind of been doing these weird gimmicks. Like we had Galaxy, which is extremely good. I love Galaxy, but it's not the same. You're kind of on these very linear levels, and they're really small, like kind of environments. And then we've had 3D World, which is kind of the next big one, which is like a throwback to the old school kind of linear levels. Very good, but it's just not the same. And so I'm super hyped that they've gone back to a true like open world level. There's a hub world. The graphics are pretty good. I thought that style because 3D World I think looks better, but the gameplay looks just exceptional. And I agree with Tyler. The cap thing is a little weird. I hope it's not like every challenge is like you got to find the person in the level to possess to do this one thing to get the moon or whatever. But I actually like the idea of the costumes. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
It gives you just a little more depth that Mario doesn't have, just so you can just something to look at different, even if it's just on that level. Being able to see Mario in a Spanish costume or like an explorer outfit or whatever else they're gonna do, at least visually gives you something to look at when you're playing this game for like 50 hours. Plus, we don't know too much. They've kind of kept things. We've only seen the sand level. There's kind of a forest level, and then we've seen New Donk City. And that's not all the maps. There's got to be at least 2 to 3 other maps minimum.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. There's going to be a lot of surprises. I'm excited.
But yeah. So, who wants to? And we already know your number 1, Steven, which was Dragon Ball Fighters. Kind of talked about that already.
Turn then.
Yeah.
Ori and the Will of the Wisp.
Holy shit.
The trailer looked gorgeous. And I really can't wait to play this game because Ori is something that's very, it's one of those games where you have an emotional thrill ride. And I can't wait to have that again with Will of the Wisp. Yeah, that's my pick. That's my number 1 pick. I think Ori and Will of the Wisp is going to be a fantastic game.
Well, I'm going with my route. What I said was going to be my game of the show at the very beginning. Microsoft brought it. Anthem. I like. It's a done deal. Like that game just looks too good. It's got the writer from Mass Effect 1 and 2. It's got the gameplay. It looks like from like almost Andromeda. Like. Oh, It looks so good. It looks pretty. It's gonna take advantage of 4K. And it's good Bioware. What's bad about this? Nothing.
Yeah, I think it looks very good. Graphics are sick. Gameplay looks really interesting. The only reason it didn't make my list because that was a vertical slice. Like they specifically made that 6-minute demo to look as good as possible. And I really want more information on like how big is the world? What really is gameplay going to look like moment to moment? How much of that trailer was scripted? That there's just like some.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like the exploration won't be like diverse or really. The gameplay is worrisome, but I feel like this was more of look what we're gonna do.
Yeah, and it was kind of like just like the reveal. Yeah, I'm assuming this is a late 2018 game, probably a 2019 game.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised because BioWare, especially with how spring's going, a lot of games are gonna get pushed back until the holiday of next year, and they might just say, "Fuck it, we'll be one of the first things to put our ground in spring 2019." Well, I don't even know why this company, or like companies, like why don't Anthem just put it in like the summer of 2019, and then you're gonna have no one else trying to combat you.
I agree. That would be huge. Like all of a sudden, you would be the big game of the summer. You would compete against nobody, and so for June, July, August, everyone would be playing your game because you're the only game out. Which would be perfect for that kind of game because it's supposed to be like a Destiny style game.
Yeah, even if people don't like it, they'll be like, well, I don't have anything else to play. You can probably even release a DLC in that time and everybody would still probably buy it.
Yeah, and like spring of 18, goodness gracious. Maybe in another podcast we could put pen to paper, but I don't even know how we're going to play all the games because everything's been pushed from this fall to spring 18, and it is heavy hitter after heavy hitter after heavy hitter.
Yeah, it's like legit. You got a game coming out every week. There's at least 2 AAA games to hit market.
And I'm like, could y'all spread it out? Like, could 1 or 2 of these games get pushed over to summer? Because like, Red Dead is coming out sometime next spring, and like, all those games are going to get obliterated.
Yeah, and if you're a gamer that is allowed to play rated M games, you are buying Red Dead. You're going against a game that you are going to get your ass royally kicked by.
So what you're saying is we need to play the game.
Exact. I mean, it's Rockstar. I don't know why you go against it. It's literally wanting to hurt your game, especially if you're a new IP too. You are literally wanting it to die.
I agree, and there's a lot of big games coming out in 2018. Spring has almost become the new fall. Because a lot of people, like, basically fall's dominated by, like, an Assassin's Creed, a COD, and, like, Battlefront or Battlefield. And so everyone's just vacates. And now they're all going to 2018, or, like, to the springtime now. And now that's, like, too full. So, like, I'm hoping we're kind of working our way around the calendar where games will start coming out in summer, and it'll be more spread out.
But, yeah, even just look at, just even the two, like, Sony and Microsoft, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, God of War, and Days Gone will all promise in spring of next year.
Good God.
Like, especially with, like, Sea of Thieves, Sea of Thieves, Days Gone, those are franchises that haven't been proven at all. God of War, I feel like it's going to be okay. People are going to buy God of War that are going to buy God of War.
Yeah.
State of Decay, I don't know if it's going to be okay, but it's at least proven itself saying, hey, we can make a good game. Now we're just adding to it.
Yeah. I'm kind of indifferent about State of Decay 2 because it looks like a game that could have been made on a 360.
Visually, yeah, I completely agree with you on that.
And animation-wise, too, it looks like something straight from 2012.
Yeah, I don't... As much as I am hyped for this game,
you've played it.
I think State of Decay is a lot of fun. It was a great game for its price. And the only thing, when I was playing it, I'm like, the only thing else I can think of that they fucked up on is not putting co-op. Legit, if they added co-op to that game, that would have been the best $20 you could have spent on the Xbox Live Marketplace.
And it probably could have been better than Metal Gear Survive.
Well, apparently that game's actually not that bad. People are just shitting over it because it's Konami.
Yeah, because they're a bad developer.
But one of the guys over at IGN said it was a legit fun game, and if you enjoyed Metal Gear Survive, right now, I mean Metal Gear Solid 5, not Survive, that you will enjoy Metal Gear Survive right now from what he's played.
Interesting.
But that was E3. I'm gonna give E3, give you guys like your final thoughts of like, I guess in a grade form. I'm gonna give E3 a B.
Man,
I got a
pretty
B
good
too.
with it there.
Probably B minus because it's not
Yeah,
as
there you
epic
go.
as the ones before it.
Yeah, B
Yeah, this
minus.
year was
I
like-
think a B minus is well deserved. Yeah, usually I don't. It's like a B minus. There wasn't enough like mic drop. The ball's in your court now.
I think 2015 was better. I think 2016 was better.
Oh, I
Because
completely agree. Way more surprises.
each company had a mic drop. Each
Yeah, I agree.
conference
This is kind of the.
has got to have a mic drop. If you hold a conference, it's got to be like the ball's in your court. Whatever, just we're done.
Yeah, I agree. This is kind of the year where like we kind of knew for the most part everything that was coming, and it was just more
And
about
the
like,
only
here's a little bit more footage. and
Surprises
here's, like,
are
a little
usually
more
just
trailer.
ports like the Undertale thing, or remakes like Shadow of the Colossus.
But even that stuff, like it got leaked.
That's the thing. There was no surprises. That was a huge deal. I completely agree with you on that.
Like right before Ori got announced, oh, it's got leaked.
Because people are assholes and they just want to spoil everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the more interesting thing is games that we really thought were going to be there and didn't even show up. Because we thought Sucker Punch's game was going to be there. We thought a new Batman game was going to be there, not there. And there's a couple of things.
Especially
Like we
after-
thought Halo was going to
after,
be there.
Especially after the passing of Adam West.
Yeah, I really did think that Rocksteady or that other studio, WB Montreal or whoever's the other big studio up there, was going to come out with like, here's the next Batman game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we didn't get it. It's interesting.
But yeah, I think next year will be good because Microsoft, every exclusive they possibly have is it's gone. Like they have to announce new IP.
They really got to start. They really need to.
I agree.
Sony's gonna have not that much. They'll probably show off Last of Us and Death Stranding.
Sucker Punch.
Yeah, because I imagine Days Gone and God of War will be out before E3 next year. Maybe not Spider-Man though. I think Spider-Man's gonna be their big holiday game.
And they have some aces up their pocket. Like Shenmue 3 could finally kind of like reappear next year. And then they could also show off finally Resident Evil 7 stuff. Or not Resident Evil 7.
Oh shit, probably Kingdom Hearts 3 as well, even though that I mean it's a primary Sony game, but
Yeah. But yeah, they'll show that off in a big way. And then Final Fantasy 7's kind of gone dark. And with them just getting the license back, or like Ubisoft, Square Enix is like pulled it back in-house. I bet they're going to try to churn that out here pretty quick. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't show a new trailer next year and they're like coming out 2019. Boom. Like that's kind of a mic drop moment for a lot of people.
yeah. Well, guys, that was E3 this year. After this, I don't know what the podcast future will hold. Well, I'll have an episode out every week, but I don't know what the hell it's going to be because there was going to be no news. If it was going to get announced, it was going to get announced at E3. So stay with us for like this next month because it will probably be dark. Um, but yeah,
Well, we can talk about what we're playing. Like, it didn't have to be that dark. You're
eh,
really making people not want to subscribe.
well, I'm saying subscribe, but it's gonna be dark. Like
I made the video, so you can't hark on me anymore.
you did make the video, Ghouls, but can we talk about how he's not gonna give Gundam Seed Destiny a good review? Ghouls.
If
Fuck
you think
that.
Gundam Seed Destiny is
Anime.
a good game, please leave your comments and
Watch
your praises
Watch
in the likes in the comments below.
the
Because there's no bad
show.
things you can say about Gundam Seed Destiny. It's a simple masterpiece.
I rather watch Sword Art. No, actually no. Sword Art Online's even worse than that. I rather watch
Oh, God.
Attack on Titan.
Oh
It's
shit!
not a bad show, girls. It's not
Attack
a bad
on
show.
Titan is a
Y'all
bad
really
show.
do, y'all are really critical on that.
All right. Well, thank you
They're
guys
like
so much
really
for
good
watching.
shit,
We'll
like
see you
Star
guys
Wars
next
Counterattack.
week.
Thank you
And
very
actually,
much.
starting back tomorrow, I'll have Money in the Bank review, and then we'll finish up Injustice 2 finally, and then we'll go into Tekken 7. But
There it is. There it is.
thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.